Because it's summer. Hey, everybody, it is indeed summertime here in the Rocky Mountain West. It is, woo, it's a hot one, baby. And to all of
Book
those,
collecting is easy.
there we go. Don't need to meet myself coming and going. I used to do this at night, and you know, I like doing it at noon. I don't know, maybe it's nothing wrong about the evening. But anyway, so hey, Kaz, how you doing? Kaz says that she's going to be work, but she may be coming in late. So I think that's groovy. Hey, Lost in Space, good to see you. Tiger Odyssey, good to see you. And Darth, Samuel, good to see you. Jessica, peace. Coyote Prophet, hello. Davey, good to see you. Hey, Brian, how you doing, my friend? Milky Way Messenger. Going to get Brian on here, I hope. Twisted Isby, how you doing? Peace. Proud Texas lady. How you doing? Hot down in there in Texas, isn't it? Yeah, I spent a lot of time down in Texas. Austin, Texas, and Houston. Jason, hello. And Landon, good to see you. Maverick, Juan, Michael, good to see you. Anne, hello. How are you? Maria, hello. Oh, man. So, yes, it is. Yeah, I know. It sucks. But hey, I used to say when I lived in Austin, Texas had merely three kinds of weather: hot, hotter, and humid. And I guess there would be a fourth one. It's it's where they got hail from, right? I don't know. You're in my memory. Hello, good to see you, Brett, Nina, the Mystic. Hello, Saul. How you doing, Daniel? Good to see you, my friend, all the way down under. It's well, I guess what? It's kind of 10 o'clock in the morning down there where you are, something like that. Anyway, well, thank you. Thank you, Darth. That's very kind of you. You guys make the channel. I mean, I'm just driving the bus. That means you got on the bus, right? Chris Rogers, good to see you. Legend Real, hello. Rain, Silver One. I like that. I like that. We all need our own magical wand. Hey, Flight Risk, how you doing? Northern Trails, how you doing? Hello, Lois. I was thinking about you. How are you doing, my dear? Cajun Queen Tarot. Emerald Eagle, hello. Good to see you as well. Maximus. I love that. The great thing every time I think about Maximus, I think of how many people really don't understand history. And you really should read the exploits of Vespasian. Yeah, anyway, that's for another show. Sabrina, hello, how are you? Bianca, good to see you. L. Harris, Marguerite, hello. Get the Money Jones, how are you doing? So, hey, we had the psychics already here. They gave us 2 thumbs down. But I'm glad that they're here. I mean, we all could use more psychic ability. So, but I happen to disagree. I think what we're going to do today is going to be fun. Invoking favor. I'm just going to invoke favor and joy upon all of us. Everyone hearing my voice and seeing my image, I just invoke favor and joy into your life. May they grace you. And grace is another term for favor. May they find you favorable, and may there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life at all. Period. Complete restoration. End of it. We're sowing seeds here. Boy, to date, I just got finished sending out, I think 2 more. Try to keep up on top of this, but there was like over 40 plus requests on the daily affirmations. And by the way, someone said, well, what happened with the 30-day thing? Let me tell you, I've got the emails to show you. Number of emails of people coming into money. money that they didn't know. I've told you the one individual who wrote, dire situation, turned it around. I have gotten several other emails of people just coming into money. Many people finding out that that favor thing works. Oddly enough, a gentleman wrote me and said that he got pulled over, and he said he was speeding. He said, like, I was guilty. And he said the highway patrolman that clocked him and pulled him over gave him a warning. Now, folks, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it is favor. It works. And so to tell you what that 30-day challenge did, and I still have mine right over here, it works. It changes people. I mean, you think about it. That ticket would probably have cost, I don't know what he was speeding. He didn't say, but most speeding tickets that you get, it's $100, $200 real quick. That's favor. Told you the story about the couple that went to the grocery store. Power went out. They get their groceries free. Not only do they get their groceries free, manager says, take as much dairy and meat products. Come on. Feeding you without you having to spend a dime. People coming into literally tens of thousands of dollars. Had one send me this morning. Don't think it would matter because I'm not going to say who it is. $31,000. How's that? I'd say that works, wouldn't you? So what are we talking about? Excuse me. The air is lousy here. So what we are talking about is this. All these favors will come upon me, and I actually put it into first person, and overtake me if I give voice to them each day. Favor will be with me in the city. Favor will be with me in the country. Favor will heal my body when I speak favor into my body. Favor will set apart my children, animals, ground, home, favored with abundance of joy. Nothing wrong with that. Favor will be on my food, water, your pantry. Favor will walk with me when I come in and when I go out. Favor will cause my enemies to be at peace with me. Favor will walk with me when I come in and go out. Favor will be upon my barns and storehouses. Today, that's wherever you put your money, wherever that is. That's your barns and your storehouses. Keep them safe. Actually, I make them to prosper. Favor will be upon me in everything I undertake, everything I set my hand to. Favor shall cause it to prosper. Favor shall be upon all my material property and shall cause it to last longer and not break. Hey, a car today is what a mansion used to cost 40 years ago. Favor shall protect me, my children, my possessions from calamity. Favor will lead me to good fortune in all things. Favor will cause me to be the head, not the tail. Favor will cause me to come out on top and not beneath. Favor will cause me to always be above. Favor will cause me to have favor with the elements. Favor will cause me to be favored with the spirit realm. Favor will cause me to be favorable to everyone I meet. They will see me with favor. Favor will seek me out. That's what it's all about, folks. I don't care what people say. It works. And it's like anything else. Once you know it works, it doesn't matter what people say. It's like, okay, fine. But as far as here, yeah. I mean, if you got to say something, might as well say something positive, right? Something that edifies you, something that lifts your house up. It sucks to be in a house where everyone is arguing. People are yelling. People are in emotional distress. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if it wasn't? That only happens when you live alone. So, and then you can have arguments with yourself. The great thing is, you shouldn't lose arguments to yourself, but sometimes that happens. What does the shirt say? Okay. The shirt is this: trying to understand some people is like trying to smell the color 9. There you go. And ain't it the truth? So, brought to you for your coitus mind pleasure today. All right. On a serious note, all right, happy birthday to everyone who has a birthday. If you got a birthday today, hey, way to go. Enjoy it. I've had people ask me, what kind of books would I recommend? You got to let me know where you're at. I mean, that's like going into a car dealership that you can have, anything you want. You just don't know it. And your driving skills are at about a level of a VW, but they have, an F1 that there if you'd want it. Most of us would. I wouldn't want an F1 anyway. I love the cars, but yeah. Anyway, so let me know where you are. Some people are just coming out from under the God spell. I'm going to do a rebroadcast of, well, I can guarantee you 30,000 of you were not here when I produced that. And I'm really going to get into breaking the God spell, going to get into history. You're going to find out who Vespasian really is and his 2 sons and the pact that they made with the Herodians, Beatrice particularly, and the Alexandrians. 3 families. It's amazing what their influence those 3 families still have on today's societies. Also want to say too, there's some people here I haven't seen in a while. I think about Sherry, and I know there's a number of others. And hey, wherever you are, send in your favor. It's going to be okay. Now, on a serious note, I had someone in our community write to me, and when I read the email, wow, people steal things. Cities steal things. They steal property, and individuals who are not human. Listen, if you're all about greed, that's your total motivation, you're not human. You have morphed into something that is subhuman. And by the looks of it, we got a lot of those walking around. But in any case, so she was wanting to know, was there anything that she could do to protect her property? And the answer is yes, oddly enough. So before we get into too deep, because today we're going to go through some books. I know David has a lot of older books. I mean, many of you. Hey, Rocker Chick, how you doing? Desert Rose, boy, you see, I'm looking over there and I'm going, I don't get distracted, Steiger. Whoop. Anyway. Let's talk about a book that all of us should begin to think about. By the way, this is Frater's book, this book right here. This is in my Kindle. And so in my garage, I have the 4 cardinal points plus 4. I literally have these drawn out on my garage floor. And when I invoke my circle, I like Frater's point. You've got north, south, west, east. Each one of us have our own practices. This is where I set, my sphere of protection. And I also add the 4 additional sub-cardinal points, northwest, northeast, and there's a reason for this. So this is what they call an 8-point magic circle. And if you have a place, property, you can literally go and draw these out, have a compass, kind of know where you're pointing at, and understand that there is a reason for the cardinal points. That different types of, ideologies on this. Some call them the cardinal points, other call them the 4 watchtowers. Frederick gets into this. We will get into this as well. So the other thing I want all of us to think about as well is, and I won't get into this. So this is important in Sigil Magick, and also you can use your finger, you can use your hand, you can use a wand. If you've charged a wand, this can be done. So understand, anytime you open within your circle, and I'm going to show you what I mean by this, you're opening portals. You're literally opening portals into the spirit realm. You may not be able to see, most of us can't, unless you get into, trance, do a little out-of-body traveling. The mind, once free, has no limitations or restrictions. So when you go to invoke, remember, you can do this literally in the air, how the invoking works. Understand as well as to the unsealing. When you have completed your magic, you must seal. You can't, how shall I say, you can't close them. They're open. And regrettably, because of amateurs, and I can just go on and on, many portals are left open. And, the spirit realm is much bigger than the physical realm. You can then also seal when you open a portal, and you can just see how that works. If you need to print these, I think I'll find them where I can actually, and then banishing. There are those spirits that are just assholes. That's all I can say. I've met a few, and I just heard in my head someone says, yeah, and that's what they think of you as well. So hey, it balanced out, right? It's not all pixie dust and unicorns, folks. I mean, the spirit realm is not for amateurs. We're all going to go there, just like we're all born into here. But yeah, there are degrees. So I want to carry on. So when you do your circle, this is just, I have experimented with this and it works. So now I erase it, but I have in permanency the 4 cardinal points and then the 4 subset on the points. And I will draw literally from each cardinal point a square within my circle. Many of you are probably already picking up on this. What you're literally building yourself is literally your own vortex. Now, I'm going to have a copper pyramid made because I want to set that inside my square once I have it drawn and I have it ready to go. And it should look like this. So when you do your magic circle, you can begin to see how this becomes highly, it's charged. My wife came in from wherever she had at, and I had just finished up, and she said, what's taking place in here. I mean, she could feel the energy. It's powerful. I don't know what to tell you. Take it at your own pace, but nevertheless, this does work. Now, this gets into more of, you can actually go into the sub-cardinal points, northwest to east, east to southwest, and you can see what's happening here. These are gateways. And when you form a gateway, remember, you must enter a gateway and you must exit a gateway. That's all I can say. We'll get into that more. I'm just trying to show you that there are methods that you can use. And these we get into, then we're going to get more into the Ankh. These are, and I know I'm getting it because there's so much to cover here. But write to me. Let me know if you want to see more of this. This is because it gets really powerful. I mean, I'm just giving you literally the 60,000 foot overview. But this is what can begin to happen. These vortexes that you open, they're powerful. It's kind of like the first time I did it, I didn't say a word. I just sat there, just meditating, getting a sense of kind of getting my equilibrium, to be candid with you. And it's tangible. And I have no doubt, should I have invoked a spirit, and we'll get into that in, conjuring, this is how it's done. I got the sense the first time I did this, it's like walking up. Al sent me a thing with Jethro Tull. My God, by the way, it's a great song. Gave him my memory back in 1971, seeing Ian Anderson play that. Literally, I was right there. He was right there in front of me. Anyway, I digress. So these are portals that, well, it connects you. Now, I've told you my stance. I don't worship any gods, any spirits. I don't kiss their ass. I don't bow down and pay homage to them. Many of them require that. You know what? I don't need it, and therefore I just walk on. And I'm not alone in this. I think that there's a new evolution of sorcerers, magicians, masters. I reject the gods that most magic is based upon. I will only put myself in there. Now, being aware of that kind of makes you a rebel in one way. And in the spirit realm, that's how you're seen. It's a lot of power, but you have to understand, when we get over there, you might as well get used to it here. There are some powerful entities. So anyway, I will get out of here and we will leave Fredder's book, but it's very fascinating. And so what I'm trying to do is to show you that this works. It's powerful. And that is just some of the basics. We'll get into some of the minutia of this, in other episodes. Now, I want to go back and let me get out of here. Here I am. How you doing? It's good to see you. This is powerful stuff, folks. I'm going to share my experiences with you. I made a mistake. I didn't close the portal. In this case, I actually, you can open a portal and a vortex. A vortex is where a portal is exactly that. It is a porthole. Don't know if you know that. That's where it comes from. Portal is a porthole. You can literally look in and say, huh. Now, a vortex will have, according to the 7 principles, and they work, the corresponding effect. It can literally draw you in, and it can literally pull out. And I couldn't figure out why the energy was weird. And so when I figured out what I didn't do, I went back and corrected my mistake. Glad I did. So, but anyway, no tea today. It's too hot. All right. Got a book. I want to go back on where we covered this before, but I really want to get into some things. These are, again, the 6 and 7 books of Moses. This is some powerful stuff. And the reason why I'm going to do this is that we're talking about magic, conjuring. These are the different sections of this book. And sigils, very important. They're manifested throughout this magic that was invoked upon us thousands of years ago. Powerful spells where the magic is concerned. We talked about these 2 books that were never out there. They were rejected, but good reason. So remember, there's 7 seals of the Spirit. This one takes you through how each one of these seals work. And the congregate, when you're conjuring, understanding that there is a hierarchy. There are these, which I can only say when you go through this, these are names that are very well known to this covenant. Now, I make no claim to this covenant, and I can learn the process, and it's like anything else. You know, everyone can bake a cake, but not everyone can bake a cake really good. And then you can get layered cakes. The point I'm trying to make is that the recipe is basically the same. Now, this was magic that I'm convinced came from Egypt. And I'm convinced that the Egyptians got it from what we know eventually to be the Chaldeans. I'm going to show you a book on Chaldean magic. When you start getting back that far back, you begin to see how the magic through the millennia has basically transmutated, metamorphized in itself. Again, what I really want to get into, so you can see, and I'm going through quick on this. By the way, I have this in PDF. And where I really want to go to, these are all the conjuring the names and the subsequent. Does that not look Egyptian to you? And of course, you see the serpent on the staff. Deep, deep magic here, folks. I mean, this is this is exactly what they call is the magic. Now you got the 12 tablets of the spirits, the first tablets of the spirits of the air. Very interesting. The elements are something that you must learn. You must begin to appreciate the elements, speak to the elements. It's supposed to be 100 degrees here today. I went out and I asked the element, could you give a respite, please? Literally, folks, 5 minutes later, this cloud bank will move right over. I mean, yeah, is that a respite? I think if it becomes second place, then you know you've entered into that place. By the way, I wanted to show you, this is the 5th tablet of Saturn. Saturn again, something about Saturn. Here's the 6th tablet of Jupiter. And we're going back millennia, folks. The same crowd that brought you the 10 Commandments. And as I told you before, the 10 Commandments have no power over you. You have no obligation to them. They're meaningless. You can derive from them the societal structure is good. Hey, murder is bad. We know that. Hey, you don't want to screw with your neighbor's wife. You know, those are common sense kind of things. But no. So Mars, we get to that. We get to the sun. When you read this, Venus, they're all there. Mercury. So the knowledge, to me, it's like candy, good chocolate. Rennie talking about you. I mean, the type of chocolate it puts on your mouth that just melts at body temperature. You know what I'm talking about? So what I wanted to get me into this is a very long book. Excuse me, as you can see. Each one of now these are very small chapters, but you do get a very good idea that this all came from Egypt. I don't think there ever was anything of a Moses, but that's just me. So excuse me, I thought I had this pulled up, and this is embarrassing because this is not what I wanted to show you. Not the whole freaking book, Steiger. Come on. Man, I think I missed where I was going. I'm going to stop this because you don't need to see this. And I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find. I guess I can't, folks. Give me a second. I am going to find this because this really needs to be brought out. Okay. Well, I had it pulled up, and what the heck happened to it? Goes to show you, someone's not wanting us to cover this, and I find that odd. Okay, I'm not going to accept this. I am going to find this. So y'all just talk amongst yourself as I look for the particular incantation. And, well, okay, it wants to be that ignorant, then we're going to just move on. I'll find it later. I apologize for that. It just sometimes happens. All right, so let's get on to another phase. Someone asked me for this book a while back. So this one here is The Black Arts. It's a concise history of witchcraft, demonology, astrology, alchemy, and other mystical practices throughout the ages. This is a very interesting book. This is on PDF. Richard Cavendish is the author. The Black Arts. I always love how they do the spooky type thing. Like, all right, now this one is weird. I want to show you something here. He gives you the whole diagrams, puts it into, and if any of you want this, you can. He really gets into the whole issue here. The driving force behind black magic is hunger for power. I mean, if that's your motivation, then, recognize it, be honest with yourself, and understand it's been the motivation of countless others before you. Its ultimate aim is stated appropriately enough by the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Again, you get the Abrahamic flavor into this. And this is what most magic from the Renaissance period, the Middle Ages, was predicated upon. Because, again, we have to study history. Humans are superstitious by nature. Ever go to Vegas? Ever watch someone? I mean, we all have our own things. The biggest superstitious group I ever met were athletes, professional. I was in NASCAR from a number of years, and, those cats are like really superstitious. So it says, and ye shall not surely die, for God knows that the day that you eat thereof, your eyes will be open. Well, we dig that. And when we begin to understand, and allow me here as we get into this. So the soul goes around upon a wheel of stars, and all things return. Good and evil go around in a wheel that is one thing and not many. Do you not realize in your heart, do you not believe behind all your beliefs that there is but one reality, and we are its shadow, and that all things are but aspects of one thing, a center where man melt into man and man into God. Yeah. So magic, black magic. There is some in this book here, and like I said, we can't go through all 350. We're just kind of taking a little cruise here. And yeah, many magical ceremonies are deliberately designed to summon up and unleash the animal driving forces from the deeps of the human nature. The whole man is to be raised to the power of infinity, not man as a civilized thinker or man as a ravaging beast, but a man in the combination of both. You know, when you study magic, you really begin to find out that magic in so many cases, to me, is a case in philosophy. It's a case in the study of understanding that no matter what age, no matter what predominant religion or belief systems that were brought forth, there was always magic. And the thing that we've discovered here, just like Satan doesn't exist. Lucifer doesn't exist. And so if they don't exist, the whole freaking paradigm collapses. The only reason why the paradigm is sustained is that you have the antithesis of the progenitor of who is the main character. You can't have a hero delivering people from bondage, etc., if there isn't a bad guy, one that he's delivering you from, rescuing you. Well, if they don't exist, the whole thing collapses. So where does that leave us? Well, it's interesting because in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, magic becomes a key part to all of this in a way that it really drives to what you and I are all about. Anyway, let's get into the next one. There is so many good things. This one is summoning spirits. Now, the reason why this subject fascinates me, I've met spirits. We all, I think, in one way or another, have interacted with spirits. We are spirits. So by that alone, it says we will eventually become one of them. True? I mean, isn't that the ultimate destination here? I mean, when we lay these bodies down, thank you, body, I love you. You know, I speak favor to you, body, you beautiful, beautiful engineering masterpiece. But so I thought about this. What if someone was to summon you when you passed over? I mean, doesn't this make sense? This is the art of magical evocation. As I said, you know, there's a difference between invoking and evoking. Evoking is the lower level of spirits. To invoke is calling power down from on high. Literally is what it does. To evoke is to command, to summon, to serve of another entity. And in this one, I love the artwork. It's actually, I think, really what it's like, folks. How many of you have seen orbs, been around them, had them manifest in your house and where you are? How many of you have had what I call the wisp that go by? And these are, I think, those that are always here. So evocation can be defined as the calling forth of an entity from another plane of existence to an external manifestation in either the astral or physical plane. And let me say something, folks. What I am learning on this is that there's different dimensions we can plug into. I'm just exploring. Now, like I said, I will make my magic circle. I will put in my 8-corner square, and I like to sit in there and just meditate. And when I got versed to the fact that there are other dimensions, which means that there are obviously other dimensional beings. Now, it's like the reason many times people see what they see as an evil apparition, distorted and what have you. It's real. Sadly, people here that leave bitterly are twisted, looking, hideous spirits. They stay that way, as I have been taught, until they figure it out. But so many people leave Earth so bitter, so angry. It sets them back, way back. It de-evolves them into a point to where they can't be allowed to be among the other life forces, the energy beings. And we will. You'll see them. Many of them stink. You know, spirits can spell. You do know that. They literally stink. So, didn't mean to get down on that path, but all right. This is a cool book. If you don't have this one, you really should have it. This talks about how the first time you can literally, through understanding Agrippa's work and understanding Franz's work, how you can begin to have the control necessary to command spirits. I've told you, I was shown this some time ago, that I control legions. It's not like, you know, you're going to, again, I don't seek power. I don't. To me, it's, you know, money is, you got to have it in this thing, but it's not everything. Neither is fortune, neither is fame. I think that, fortunately for myself, I'm understanding that, well, if I'm going to be making this transition, it's about time I get serious about this thing and say, all right, let's find out about what do others say about conjuring spirits, summoning. What does this mean? Why is it that it was forbadden in particularly, you know, the Judeo mindset and carried forth? I mean, you know, you start talking about invocating spirits in some circles, and everyone's going to move away from you. So the word entity has been mentioned several times in the introduction, and rightly so, because the whole point of performing an evocation is to come into contact with one of these beings. Now, tomorrow we're going to get into how and what a familiar spirit is. We all have them. Some of us have many of them. We'll get more into that. But what are entities, really? And where do they come from when called? Without an understanding of the nature of entities, it is incredibly difficult to perform an evocation and virtually impossible to control the outcome of one. You ever see people messing around with Ouija boards, particularly teenagers, adolescents? I've seen some adults. And when the spirit comes through, and it does, and it takes a hold of them, it kicks their ass. Sometimes it possesses them. They open a portal and they don't understand, and it doesn't go away. So if you don't understand it and you evoke it, you best be prepared, because it's going to get real. It is for this reason that this chapter is devoted to explaining the inhabitants of the unseen world. However, like many other occult truths, the nature of entities has been explained both correctly and incorrectly over the years. To understand why this is so important, and why it is important to first understand who originated these theories. Now, this is a great book. We could actually do this as a group if you want, but he really gets into it. And the reason I like is that it's the same process that I go through. Fishing it out, flushing it out. Let's get this thing out here. Throughout the ages, there have been always two kinds of occultists. the armchair theorist and the practicing magicians. The former have, in the past century, attempted to explain occult phenomenon using the science of the time, neglecting the fact that occult science is a science of the future. How about that? As a result of the efforts of these armchair occultists, all sorts of psychological theories about magic have surfaced. These concepts are hopelessly flawed, as their creators were basically guessing about a topic they didn't understand. Practicing magicians, on the other hand, have experimented with magical techniques and achieved repeatable results. These tested theories are the ones the student of the occult will find most useful. The theory that entities only exist in the magician's mind originated with the armchair occultists of history. According to them, evocations do nothing but bring these entities up from one's subconscious and out of into seemingly external appearances. Followers of this teaching feel all information gained by evocations is the result of some type of telepathy, and that mere materializations witnessed by a number of practitioners are the result of some type of telepathic projection on the part of the magician performing the ritual. To someone who has never practiced magic, this concept could seem feasible. But a trained magician, the flaws of this theory are immediately obvious, and for a number of reasons. In philosophy, there are two concepts known as the efficient cause and the final cause. The efficient cause of an object is that which caused it to originate, and the final cause is the purpose of the object. Upon applying these principles to mystical study, a greater number of occult secrets can be learned. Practicing magicians realize this and use these ideas as a basis for their experiments in trying to identify what entities are. I mean, we ought to go on this. It's in fact, I'll look at it. Now, we all are familiar with the tetrahedrogram. And remember, if you don't want to accept this overlay, reject it. Eventually, it's going to come down to your truth anyway. Now, your truth may be, challenged over on the other side. Nothing wrong with that. It's growth. But again, we're all very familiar with this. And let me just stop here, because there's actually one other book. When I think about it, I'll just let you see. This one is Communing with the Spirits. Now, this is heresy, folks. I'm telling you, there are places in the world today that the teaching of this is forbidden. I mean, forbidden. This book here, this one's I don't know. Listen, I put it out there. But I want to give you the note that I found on this one, if I can find it, with the author. They get into such long-winded introductions. I mean, again, I guess I pulled up more books. Anyway, let me get out of here. You don't need to be seeing this. And if you want it, I'll get it to you. But the point is about entities. My contention is this. Almost all of us have a wrong perception of these entities. We see it through the filter of angels and demons. Today, you could add aliens to that. So now you've got this triad of confusion. And I contend that they're not angels, they're not demons. I doubt if they're aliens. I mean, in the physical form, if these beings do exist, then they're in physical form. If they're of spiritual form, they're of spiritual form. Now, spiritual form can take on photons, matter, and materialize, although it's rare. It will literally zap the entity of where it could take hundreds of years for them to recover from the energy drain. That's why you don't see it manifesting everywhere, folks. There's a reason for it. All of us are going to have to learn on the other side, if you're so inclined to stay in the physical plane, which you can. You're going to find out that it's very difficult to expend this kinetic energy. But nevertheless, there are beings that I was introduced that when you open your magic circle, and in fact you walk around them, the sigils are all vortices. Yeah, it's an influencing power that, and listen, someone said, well, you get into names. Yeah, names are important. I've actually had some people say, well, names mean nothing. Yeah. If you're married, call your wife a different name in the middle of making love. I'll show you how powerful names can be, bucko, because you ain't going to be getting any more. So you've got to begin to, hey, Brian, you take care, buddy. Hope to see you on Friday. That when you begin to project out, we've done this all the time. It's the same thing, I think, with prayer. I mean, you project out and you have no idea how many different dimensions you're projecting out to through. Tell me. Yeah. And I contend that if there are, in fact, what I would call multidimensional beings, we're probably, many of us here are, but they do exist, then they're actually transcending multiple dimensions. I don't know what that would look like. I have no way of knowing. But I'm sure we'll find out. So, and this was only just a small portion. I knew this would happen. I've got far more books for us to get into. We're going to get further into the sigil magic. I mean, sigils, folks, they are the foundation. Dare I say the Rosetta Stone? Would that be too bold of a statement? I really do believe. And, you know, as I continue to practice my sigil magic, it doesn't take long. And there is a particular book that I would really have enjoyed. This is a great book. It may be in PDF, but if you can afford this, get this, because it allows you to go step by step. And by the way, I'll say this, all sigils need to be closed. All of your lines, there should be no open lines. Yeah, who'd have thought? I didn't know. And many times, like you see in car sigils, you notice that the lines are never left open. Yeah, who'd have thought? Renaissance woman, I'll tell you why Lucifer has a sigil like many others, is that it's the creation of the entity. I mean, look at the video I did. Fear plus ignorance equals, darkness of mind. Listen, if there was a personification of a creature like Lucifer, I'd have coffee with him. Her? Heck yeah. I'd love to. I mean, yeah. And when we get into the spiritual realm, maybe in another dimension, there is such a thing. I just know that the word Lucifer is, again, is made up, and Satan isn't what we've been taught. Remember, that has been hijacked by a mind virus, and it's called the God spell. And it's a powerful, powerful spell, as we all know. But anyway, I got off on that. But look at the video. Make your own decision at the end. I, did the research. You can compare your research, although I do have a challenge for anyone who can show me that Lucifer does exist. Yeah. The other thing that I put the challenge is that Lucifer, if exists, is not the bad entity. Show me where it's ever killed a human. Show me where it ever commanded another human to harm another human. No, I don't see religious wars fought over him. I see religious wars fought over these other gods. I've never seen an army. Hey, we're here for Lucifer. Well, how many you got? Where'd y'all go? Could you imagine that? I'm sorry, my mind just got, I had a night vision back in 1985, and it was, I've told you all about that on the three armies, but it never occurred to me. Imagine that I've never seen one in history. Never seen an army fashioned by man. I've seen it fashioned by the gods, the Christian God, the Hebrew God, the Muslim God, the Hindu God. These are all warrior gods. There's no peace about them. They're all gods of war. And they have amassed large human armies. I've never seen one. Maybe you can tell me in history, I haven't seen one that says, we're here marching in the name of Lucifer. Because Lucifer does bring peace, not war. Oh, Wayne. It's all right. I'll wear my shirt, the other one. I'm already, as they says, going to hell in so many different religions. But anyway, I mean, think about that. It just occurred to me. It's like, wow, never seen an army of Satan. You know, I've seen huge military armies all marching in the name of the Christian God. Onward, Christian soldiers, we go off to war. With the help of Jesus, marching as, come on, what? You see that? That's a spell, folks. Marching off to war. We've been duped, we have been hoodwinked, and we have been conned. And it's time, as Jeff Doherty says, get that con out of my face. All right, folks. Hey, Julianne, how are you doing, my dear? So good to see you. Anyway, by the way, Julie, just to let everyone know, is from down under as well. So anyway, good stuff. Tomorrow we're going to continue to pick up. We're going to, continue to get in this. We'll get into the study of familiar spirits, and I think we'll get more into understanding what entities are. I just realized that is probably a good way to go. So we'll get into that tomorrow. All right, folks, be good. Hey, this is exciting stuff. It doesn't matter what they say. The thing is that they can't offer an alternative. It's the same useless, tireless rhetoric that has never done mankind 1 ounce of good. It hasn't. It's made us a warrior race, a race of hate, a race of bigots, race of all things against all other races, where favor says, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your color is. I don't care what your politics are. I just invoke favor over your life. I don't have to agree with your life. Probably don't want to be like your life. I don't want you to be like me. But I can say favor to you, my friend. I mean, what's wrong with that? Oh, and may I give you a little dose of joy? Kind of give you joy. Yeah. All right, folks. Love yourselves. Really, that's what the journey is about. In the end, it's all about you. I mean, when you get up on that other side, you'll say, wow, what a trip that was. All right, my friends, peace to you. Thank you for tuning in, and let's just continue to grow. 111 likes. Thank you. 111. I'm telling you, the numbers are everywhere. All right. Bye-bye, folks. Thank you again. 'Cause it's